Jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow, and his portfolio's going green. Oh yeah. Hey, listen, people. I know you missed me over the weekend. Like I said, open up, got to the new spot, immaculate. I've done it again. I don't know how I do this. I shock myself each time, but like I said, we're moving things over there slowly. Said we got mass majority of this stuff moved out of the old current spot. The new spot, I'm gonna have a new setup. Not immediately. I still got to buy some light stuff. Been doing some research. We're gonna bring some good quality visuals to you people, okay? But up until that point, you know, we're gonna thug it along, and we're gonna probably be at the shooting at the new crib sometime this week. But without further ado, guys, as many of you should know, Tesla came out doing the Watusi, hitting a new all-time high. We're still resting around one of those high levels. Prep, y'all heard me call it weeks ago. Tesla 300. Hey. We're easing up on the earnings is coming in on the 19th. That usually spells for a sell-off because usually people are buying the news, selling the merger, buying the news, selling the in Tesla's case the earnings. But there might be a time for you to dive in as far as picking some up. But I don't necessarily say this is gonna be like some massive drop from where we're currently at, like 300. This would just be a spot as far as catching in for that dollar cost average plan that I talk about mass majority time. Like I said, there's legs. Institutions are highly underinvested in stocks in general. So like I said, this rally that y'all seen in tech has not even had that injection. It ain't had its it ain't had its steroid, all right? It ain't had its what's it? Is it nitrous or nitrox? These nitrous. It ain't had the nitrous. It's not running on E85 right now. This is still 87. This isn't even 93 high octane yet. So I'm just telling you, there's headwinds to come. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of time. But like I said, the time is now to be buying and joining these investments. You don't want to be waiting and trying to, I'm going to time it. Now, everybody was saying it was going to time it at the beginning of the month. Where are we now? You're missing. It's like, okay, well, is it going to come back down? Yeah, but not to where you think it's going to come back down to. But now, without further ado, we had to make through two selections between our favorite redhead cougar and going with Charles Pizzle. And today we had to select our Charles Pizzle. But let's cue it off how we usually do. Cue that wind effect. Bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it in. Oh, it's a good week. It's a good week. It's a good week. It's a start of an advantageous week. I know you like the words. All right, but guys, let's get down to it without further ado. So this will end up being a 70-minute video. Yeah.
It's been a quiet session so far, but behind the scenes, folks, I can tell you right now, the bears are in a tizzy. Many recalculating or recalibrating how they want to go about this, musing whether or not to stay the course. But the shorts are different. I've talked about strategists last week. The shorts, they have real losses on the line. And like I told you last week, here's the big headlines. Hedge funds are rushing in. They're unwinding those bear stock positions. They're taking big hits, but they want to live to play again another day. Here's another interesting thing. No one, even the rare bull of last year, coming into this year, no one was bullish enough. As you can see here, your most bullish target.
Guys, this is what cued me to go ahead and jump in heavier on January. Was a simple fact of that thing just kept airing in the back of my head. When others are fearful, be greedy. When others are greedy, be fearful. Luckily, I went in and was buying Tesla at 110, 150 because I set up there and because I was at the point where I was like, oh, I just wanted to pull back to 90. But I was sitting there saying, wait, this Tesla stock at $100 almost. I dove in, I bought, and now I'm at the point where my portfolio is growing. I'm still, like I said, next month I'm probably expecting to come in and allocate more money to these funds. But like I said, I've just been sitting back watching these portfolios. Stocks like Nvidia up 300%, Tesla up 290%, guys. That's 2x. My portfolio is 2x plus some. You can't just overlook those things. And then when I say that the headwinds are just beginning, and then you've got the mood where some people are like, oh, it won't run forever. Yeah, it won't run forever. But if we can run Tesla quickly to another stock split and cement more shares, my whole idea behind this on this long-term thing is I really want to be a part of as many stock splits as I can with stocks like Tesla and Nvidia to where they're just naturally growing my portfolio and letting that seed regrow again. That's my strategy.
We're well over 4,500 right now. So listen. These are year-end targets, so maybe there will be a pullback, but in fact, the bottom line is everyone got caught flat-footed. Now, what's the deal right now with these markets? Let's talk about earnings season, right? Because you still have a few folks like Mike Wilson sticking to his guns, all right, like sort of like the iconic scene from Star Wars. You remember that? Stay on target, stay on target, stay on target, boom. Well, Mike Wilson saying, uh-oh, here it is, folks. Finally, this market's going to come down because of earnings. Well, we've heard that before, right? We've heard that a lot. And then,
and like I said, guys, y'all should know this about me as far as when it comes to stock market. The way that I stay up is that I always expect the worst. Now, I'm just expecting, like I said, there to be a dip. One, because I believe Tesla's going to come in slightly cash flow negative, just off the fact that they've been doing massive investments over this last quarter as far as all the gigafactories, things like that. I could be wrong on that, but like I said, the response still couldn't be as even a sell-off, you know. And if that occurs where it doesn't sell off like it normally does, which is what everybody's expecting, which could be countered off the fact that institutions are going to take that time to buy in. So when I said that first dip is going to be met by buying in of institutions, I still mean that. So, I mean, this could still be a thing where they just eat through earnings and still climb. And at that point, y'all just need to buckle up and wait for the next time. I don't know when the next dip's going to come, but I expect there to be a slight dip on earnings.
Of course,
but I could be wrong.
Sentiment.
That'll be the best
Sentiment plays
case scenario.
a big role. Now, it's supposed to be a contrarian indicator when it comes to retail investors, right? The more bullish retail is, the worse the market's going to go. Now, the activity that we've seen with the active money managers, your blue line here, not long ago, severely underinvested in this market.
Here we go.
Now playing catch.
Here we go. This is what I said right here. The institutions are highly underinvested now, guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So here's a funny thing, right? They're playing catch up as the retail investors were already well positioned for this. However, with all this being said, my first guess says it does pay to be a cautious bull. I want to bring in now stock market mentor Dan Fitzpatrick. So Dan, Wall Street and the financial media love to dismiss the so-called dumb money, but it seems like the geniuses sort of outsmarted themselves. And in my mind, there's some great lessons to be learned.
Guys, everybody thought that the economy was going to explode. If this right here hasn't made you more of a patriot watching this stock market somehow survive this, I don't know how in the midst of the inflation and turmoil and things that are going off that our economy has just bolstered and eaten all of this. I don't know. We're going into a housing market shortage again, which is great because my pops is getting ready to sell some properties. I was sitting up thinking that, you know, like I said, I don't know when that bubble will pop at this point because it seems like somehow people are just, they're going to go get that money. You know what I mean? This is crazy.
Here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, smart and dumb money, you kind of have to say, well, when are we talking about that?
You're going to figure out a way to
During strong market uptrends, the dumb money is actually pretty damn smart because that's the money that just keeps pushing the market higher. And that's still where we are now. However, as the market's gone up as high as it has, these institutions are saying, wait a minute, I don't think we're going to be rallying.
Guys, and I'm sorry for pausing, but this is just all good information. I want to reiterate the fact that the time was January, but the time is still now as far as retail investors. Guys, you want to be ahead of, we got positioned, those that went in and were diving in and buying these investments, which is what I was screaming, tech and tech with a little tech and tech. You've gotten ahead of the institution. This is going to create a forever protection zone because once they dump that money in, the drop levels from where the stock can drop you to where you're actually allocated are. Like I have buffer room between a lot of buffer room, hundreds of bucks of buffer room between where the stock can fall to my actual money cash investments, right? And that's only going to be more protected as the institutions running. It's not too many times that we beat them to it. That's how I know this whole thing with this economy responding like this. Nobody expected this. Even institutions were betting on bonds, cash, gold. Because this thing, when we were looking at January, you were like, oh, we're toast. We're screwed. China's going to come over and take us over the table. Here we are, 6 months. Why they say it's the strongest economy in the world. Here we are. Literally, probably the most somehow financially stout in a global reset. You look over at China, we've further realized that now China is in a worse predicament than we are. What's that up there? Vladimir Putin has drained all his money going into this proxy war, which I don't know if that was planned. I don't know. Hey, like I said, we're not going to go too far on that. I'm not trying to get eliminated. You hear me? But when you look out at all the quarters, all the big, England is in dismay. France is not only in dismay, but also in civil dismay. There's no, you saw the Swiss banks, that was the start off of all this. When you look around, you're like, wait a minute. There is no really more stout economy. I know that we're like the dollar's gonna get replaced, which we know that's gonna come at some point, but I feel like we'll have time to pivot on the foot. That Ripple XRP case beating, this is starting to let, which we all saw how the SEC was coming out and everybody wanted to be so heavy on crypto like it wasn't going, and then look at how it's flipped on its head. The XRP ruling was a massive thing for crypto space, guys. The time is now.
So they're pulling back.
The time is now.
This is the exact inflection point where we are now, where the retail money, the dumb money, has been so damn smart for so damn long that institutions are finally doing what you're talking about doing. Shorts are covering and they're racing. I think the market ultimately goes higher, Charles, but I do feel like with sentiment, some of the things that you're just talking about, really, really low put-call ratio, really strong breadth. We're kind of due for a little bit of a breather here.
All right, so let's talk about the breadth part about this. There's so many ways to measure breadth, right? You can do advances, decliners, new highs, new lows, volume. One thing that we talked about a lot, the internals, participation. So it wasn't long ago, you had about 15% of the S&P 500 above their 50-day moving average. Only 15%, in fact, in May, which is less than 2 months ago, the number was under 30%. Now we're at 81%. I guess there's a point. I mean, is there a point where there's we have so much participation, the only way to go is down?
Pretty much. I think that's a good way to say it. It's like things can only get so good before they have to pull back a bit. And you really need to think about it this way. The whole reason why stocks do what they do is money moves in, money moves out, money moves over here, money moves over there. And so what we're seeing is with all these stocks up so high, so far, so fast, you look at how many are above their 40 or 50-day moving averages, the ebb and flow of stocks and of markets is really, really likely to just pull back a little bit. So you have to look at the strength that these high breadth numbers indicate, but then at the same time, you have to realize that nothing goes straight up. We're going to get this kind of move.
Sure. And listen, that's, I want to ask you about recession as a part of the investment thesis. Everyone.
And the point that I stick on is, again, guys, there's no way for us to time what that is. That's why it's called, the only solution is dollar cost average, as far as you have to isolate what you're going to say is a long term, what you're going to say is a short term swing trade, etc. But when you're going for your long terms, the reason that, and I recommend it being two separate portfolios. I use my Webull for my swing trades, day trades, and I use my Charles Schwab for long term portfolio, right? But you've got to have it. Even when I came in, I had both those accounts together, and I was tilling, playing with money. That's one of those things that I learned that I had to separate. I understood what the separation is. That long-term portfolio, you've got to have a whole different outlook and a strategy in the stocks that you hold in that. That's a dollar cost average. Don't allocating X, Y, Z amount of money to whatever stock you deem to be a long term. I can't tell you what those stocks are. I can only make my own recommendations, right? And if y'all take them, hey, you might be green.
Brings up recession. Remember, coming into
DCA,
the year,
dollar cost average,
slam
man.
dunk first
Dollar
half of the
cost
year.
average.
Now, half of the investors surveyed by J.P. Morgan say it's the first half of 2024. So let's just say that's right. Let's just say this is right. How do you invest differently from in a recessionary period versus a non-recessionary period?
Well, first of all, I think you kind of have to see the recessionary period, and we're not there yet. You know what I mean? I was in the recession camp. I really thought, God, the wheels are going to come off the wagon. We're going to be lucky if we make it through the first half of 2023. But I know this, the longer something is anticipated by the most number of people, the less likelihood.
Major key what he's saying, guys. Like I said, everybody came in. It wasn't just a FOFO or retail overreacting off the simple fact that institutions themselves got outplayed by the market. We thought that this thing was going up in flames. People was already going to that what's that app? I forgot, where it teaches you how to Duolingo. Going on there, you was already learning your Chinese. Like, yeah, they gonna we thought we were up and doom, but that fear, that uncertainty, that doubt is where the breed of money comes from. And now everybody has been expecting this recession for so long. We've been screaming about this recession for 6 months, which we were already in the terms of what we would call a recession, and they changed the name on it. They changed the description of what a recession was, and now the outlook is looking way better as we're coming through the halfway mark of this year. Hey,
there is of that actually happening.
You gotta be aware of what's going on.
I would
you gotta be able to change your outlook
with investing in a recessionary period as I would in a non-recessionary period. Go with the best stocks. Those companies that are bringing in the most revenue. Okay, fine.
High pricing power
on a chart basis, on a price basis. Are they outperforming their competitors? You don't. It's really not rocket science. Right. It's really just a function of looking in those areas that are still showing strong growth. And we're seeing a lot of those areas still.
Hey, Dan, I got to let you go, but just give us one example of that.
Tesla.
One that I like really is on Fitness, ONON. That stock is just starting to break out right now. I think that's going to do really well. One short squeeze is EXPI. That is going to do really well also. And so all of our crypto stocks that you and I talked about a month ago or so are just on fire. MicroStrategies, Marathon Digital. So we have a lot of choices that you can make right now to put your money, Charles.
Well, you've had the hot hand.
I agree with that.
I appreciate you giving us a short squeeze.
Don't know if I would name those.
Talk to you again real soon, Dan.
Yeah, it has.
All right, buddy.
All right.
He threw that in there. He was like, yeah, hey, come join in my short squeeze. You could have said something like AMC and helped us out. All right, folks. Hey, let's dial in. Just overlooking what our AMC stock. Nothing much has changed, but like I said, we're still sitting at record numbers. We're just gonna go over those right quick. We looked at a price change of what is this here? I know we didn't end dead on where. Hey, this is immaculate right here. But like I said, really no price change. We went up 92 basis points. And after hours went down 92 basis points. Guys, this is full algo trading. There's no shares available. We've been here before. There's, if you're waking up, the only thing you need to be waking up for is that court case. And like I said, that's going to be a deciding fact of major things. Even delay from this will send this stock to the moon. She's sitting there prime, but everybody, including the other side, is just sitting there waiting for this judge's verdict. Now, double tapping down. 0 shares available, completely bought. We got a goose egg sitting up here. Cost of ball ranges are still sitting at all-time highs at 974.9% cost of ball, and they're gobbling these shares up. This is just to show you again. And now, here's what, speculation. I think we already know this. They're getting all these shares from stock loaning apps. And those people who have apps and haven't went in and checked their stock lending, that's where they're scraping up these 2 million shares, things like this. And that's why the cost of borrow is so high, because these are just being utilized in people's accounts. That's the only way that you could even get up to 1,000% cost of borrow and shares coming available. This is coming from those stock lending apps, apps where they haven't turned that off or whatnot. Still irrelevant. It's just enough to hold the price where it is. But still, like I said, we know there's bukus of synthetic shares. All we're waiting for is either one for this judge to send us up or send us down. Now, short percentage, dark pool rise 61.5%. Now, remember, we were sitting down here at those 31s. This has all now become completely worthless to me as far as even telling price movement, because of the simple fact of when we were down at 30, 31%, 35%, 44%, y'all should have been seeing 5 or 10% increase just because the sheer amount of short volume was so much less than what would have been buying volume. But again, as we know, they're sending 100% of this through dark pool, and now they're just not letting anything out. This right here is is the term called a quagmire? Is this a quagmire? Hey, this might be a quagmire. It's a simple fact. We're just sitting at a pause. We're at a stalemate right now, guys. This thing is not about to move until the judge lets out her orders. Pulling back in, we'll have to wait for tomorrow to still see if we're still on it. But as of leaving off on Friday of last week, we still were on the AMC threshold list. At this point, I'm trying to say, if we've been on the threshold list for 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, isn't there? Let's just see it. Wait a minute.
A security ceases to be a threshold if it does not exceed the specified levels or fails for 5. Well, all right, we know this part. So we know that it starts at 5 consecutive days. Now I'm gonna have to go back and do some looking just so I can bring the information. What I'm looking for right now is to see, is there anything that's supposed to force a covering? At one point, let me see, financial. I'm gonna come back with that information. But what I'm saying, I'm trying to remember if I had read somewhere that it might be 21 days, but I thought it was a certain amount of days if a stock is on the threshold list that it's supposed to be, the SEC is supposed to come in and do some forceful regulation. But now, obviously, we're not expecting that here. Whatever that last day is, knowing this stock, it'll just magically disappear off as it has in the future, and it passed where it was on the threshold list and just magically went off. But we need to go looking at, somebody tells me if they have information on that in the comments. If there's a certain amount of days that a stock can be on the threshold list before it kind of goes through a I wouldn't say to call it a fire sale, but like a forced buyback or covering, or where it is escalating. I thought there was a certain amount of days for that. But all right, pulling further in, guys. Days to cover and shortage still sitting at all-time highs. We're sitting at 28.3% on our estimated short interest, 34% in the free float, 98.86 utilization, going back up to 100% utilization days, and days to cover is at a whopping 10.18 days. We are at 10 days. I think the highest we've seen was 12 so far, but 10 days to cover, guys, with a short score of 95.65 out of 100. Hey, if this doesn't let you know that it don't matter what you do, we're just waiting on the judge's a verdict at this point, because the numbers already are piped up showing you they basically have put this thing on ice. This thing is on ice, ready to explode, one way or the other. That's all I'm telling you. And like Judge Zern, if you're looking at this, baby, all we need is delay. All you have to come out and say you'll give us a verdict next month. Just go ahead and put it on ice and see what happens. Put the gasoline out and strike the match. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right, pulling further through, guys. Taking a heavy look at one of my favorite stocks, TSLA. Y'all heard me call it. Tesla 300, right? I seen crazy. Y'all heard me call it way back when. I told you that breakable at 265, guys, all this is still climbing above earnings. If we see 300 before earnings, that would be an immaculate, beautiful thing. But all that I'm looking at this for, guys, this is just more and more of a barrier that's being created between those mid levels of 260 and 250 that I want the stock to hold. The stock holding above these levels in general is telling me that we've got bullish upside that's coming, irregardless of a sell-off. I still expect a sell-off to come just because it's earnings. People are gonna have to collect this money. Some people are not just holding it for long term. Some people are just here for a swing trade. They swing traded $30 bucks. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand from that perspective. There's going to be a lot of catching. A lot of people do not carry through earnings. But like I said, we're sitting at a close after hours at 290. I was there watching it go from 292, guys, $8 shy of 300. Woo! Just mind y'all, now 6 months ago, y'all could have got this stock for $100. Tesla. Somebody say it to me. Tesla. All right, pulling through. Polestar will adopt the North America charging standard. It's another company to join in to enable access to Tesla supercharging network, U.S. and Canada. Guys, the footwork has been put down again. This is why I say there's a possibility of us coming cash flow negative in Tesla, just off the simple fact that Tesla has gone out and done hella investing. The Gigafactory in Shanghai, the Gigafactory in Mexico they're building. I forgot what other Gigafactories they had, were upscaling, but there's like 2 or 3 more Gigafactories. Not to mention, guys, we got the Cybertruck. Apparently, the first one has been created. I don't know if it's been dispatched yet or sold out yet, but I'll put you kind of show you the testing of the seats and stuff like that. The Cybertruck's coming, guys. The 18-wheeler is still coming, guys. Hey, I can't scream it any louder, y'all. I'm just telling you, this is an S-tier stock. This is a game changer. This is generational wealth right in front of you. But Polestar, I believe, makes electric, kind of like sports cars or a supercar rendition of those bad boys. But now they've adopted Tesla charging standard, guys. If all EVs take over this charging standard, y'all got to understand the simple fact of the fact that Tesla is going to be making money hand over fist, irregardless. Ford, every car you see, Ford has had problems with their EV, and that's why their stock has dropped down with their F-150 Lightning. Nobody can do it like Tesla. They're following Tesla's model. Tesla is not only scaling out, but they're taking over the grid. Banger, Steve, if that's a banger. All right, pulling through, guys. This was just a testing of the Tesla, what they expect to be Tesla Cybertruck seats. But it's going through the test of basically doing like the lifetime of sitting in the seats just so the wear on it and like how it can survive that and durability. But listen to music. Can't go too long. I don't know if they'll try to copyright that or not. But like I said, this is the promotion aspect that Tesla's pushing forward and putting a foot in front of as far as getting out. Guys, this is a rolling tank. I hope everybody understands how big this is going to be. Now, I don't think everybody's going to be able to afford it right off the gate, but still, nonetheless, any news is good news for Tesla. Now, pulling through, just showing everybody back here in January where y'all could have got that for $100, and it's up to $290, almost 3x. Almost 3x what it was in January. 300% of what you had to put in. If you had to put in 10,000, you would have 30,000. You had to put in 100,000, you have 300,000. You had to put $50, you'd have $150. Guys, listen. This is massive. What would it be? Yeah, 150. All right, but this is massive, right? The play has not even started running yet, and I'm just gonna keep throwing this out here each and every single time. I'm gonna keep bashing in y'all's brains so you can't come back and rebound it. Nobody told you what it was. Money Montgomery has been spoon feeding you green. All you had to take was like a little baby. All you had to do was take a little bit of that Gerber. You had to take a little bit of that Gerber life. You'd have been straight. But like I said, there's plenty of time. There's plenty of money. We're gonna be continuing to bring bangers. Like I said, moving forward as like I said, I have more cash coming in, so I'll be bringing ops into this channel as well. But like I said, this is a money-making channel. This is a retail channel. This is a retail saga, people. This is not just a small thing. This is the big thing. This is bigger than us, all right? Now, pulling back through, hey, folks, witness NVIDIA, a rising star up 310% year-to-date in its tech industry, riding high, no advising. And, guys, just pulling over, just a keynote, like I said, chart reading is a great thing to have as far as kind of just knowing what the moves are, but it's really a balance of knowing what's going on with the news, chart reading, and sentiment that kind of makes you the best, most of all trader. But now looking at this, we have up here is your 14 MA and then your 48. I used to do this on the 10 and the 50, but I forgot who that was. I think that was Review Dork that I had watched some years back and kind of picked up this there because it was a little bit finer tuned than that 10, 12, and that 50. But just a simple breakdown of this is whenever that 14 is crossing above that 48, you can expect uptrend. And vice versa, when they cross back down, that you're going to be expecting a downtrend. Like I said, we're on the 1 hour. As you close the Eagle 5, it'll show you on a shorter term scale. But a 1 hour is kind of showing you, days into the future, right, of how this move is going. So this 14 is broken above right now. Y'all can see how on par that is down here. You see this? Crossover, sell down, sell down, sell down. Cross up, gain, right? And now you're watching this 48 sever apart and go higher and higher, which is letting me know there's further green to come leading up to their earnings. So like I said, we're in a good position. If you haven't bought in, if you're not that person where you're going to take that dollar cost average, everything, you're looking for a dip opportunity, you might have a dip opportunity as earnings. If you don't, oh me, oh my. It's going to be a little wait for you to be able to jump in on that thing. And then just putting over to NVIDIA, I want to show that similar pattern as well. Coming up here, y'all can see 14. MA to 48. Y'all can see even on the macro scale, this crosses down, comes across, and this is where we're having that sideways trade. But now we had over here our cross up, and then from that cross up back here on the 11th, green, came up and hit an all-time high at 480. Of course, you had some people taking their profits. Comes down, people were expecting to cross down here. We think there's gonna be more sell-off. Catches, and then it's going to proceed on the upward price move again. So like I said, not only do we have And like I said, these are small 1%. If I hit 480 and I see a drop down to 460, that doesn't, ruffle any of my feathers, especially like I said, seeing as much my dollar cost average down here towards 300 and 350. But like I said, plenty of strength in the way that this thing is holding. This, look at the pattern of it now. No stock goes straight up, but what we want to see is how it responds to those previous supports, right? For us to hit a new, comes back down, does a retest down here of that old resistance that's coming to sports at 450, and it's starting to climb back up. I just want the Nestle to make 450 a strong support, and that's what I'm showing this. Like I said, I see more upside to come on this. Y'all already know I'm a heavy bullish tech, but obviously with the warrant, we going green. Hey, but like I said, much love to y'all. Y'all boys know we're going to keep coming back with bangers. Keep your ears to the ground. Like I said, we're still waiting for news from our AMC. That judge verdict is going to be the Q factor of how the movement on that play. But we have hella money moving around in this tech sector. And there's more to come, still with institutions being on the sideline. So like I said, if you're at the point where you're like, I'm wondering if I should buy some. Yes, the time is now. The time is now. Dollar cost average. I'm not telling you, go up with your whole 464. If you don't, go to Webull, do your fractional. But what I'm saying is dollar cost, 150. Buy it in. Let it ride. Okay, boom, add in. Let it ride. Okay, boom, add in. Let it ride. And then start a specific amount of money that you're depositing each month in. They say 250 at a 5% or something like that, a 10% over 6 years will make you a million. Well, I'm trying to be there before that. So obviously I'm scaling up on that, and obviously we're getting way more. How long is it on if you're getting 40% on a NASDAQ return or 300% on stocks? You know what I'm saying? These are those times where it's kind of like, you don't want to miss these opportunities to set up for your generational. This is foundation building. You caught bang your companies at all-time lows. They're not going to be this low in 5 years. Just keep that in mind. What do we say? And I wrote it down and took your advice on the KB Corp. NVIDIA, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Path, Amazon, Intel, XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, HBAR, XLM, XRP again, Tesla again, because like I'm trying to tell you, bangers, game changers, yachts on thoughts and thoughts on yachts type of money, life-changing money, and like I said in the previous time, all it takes is one trade to change the course of your family's history. That's powerful. That's huge. That's huge. Kudos to everybody that's in the market. Kudos to each person that's going out and tapping out of the matrix, that's taking the key to the streets. This is the key to immortality. Don't be scared by the markets, but you got to learn them. This market's going to teach you. Those that are too bullheaded be like, okay, all right, maybe I can't just make it go my way. Hey, I recommend not fighting a tape on everything. We came in AMC with a fight mentality, but maybe you should fight with the market instead of against the market. That's how you make your money. That might go over your head. But listen, y'all. Much love. I appreciate y'all. Much love, all support. Like I said, we're going to be bringing more and more content, better visuals. I'm glad that y'all are here. I thank y'all so much for all support. And like I said, y'all know we're going to keep coming with it. But everybody already knows what's next. Yes, sir!